अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरिं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं भजे अच्युतं केशवं सत्यभामाधवं माधवं श्रीधरं राधितं इन्दिरामन्दिरं चेतसा सुन्दरं देवकी नन्दनं नन्दजं सन्ददे।
ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्ते नमः। गुकारस्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ओम सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ओम शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ओम सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। We saw till the 12th verse. सम्यक विचारत सिद्धा रज्जु तत्वावधारणा भ्रांतोदित महासर्प भय दुःख विनाशिनी. The effort towards moksha is about removal of bhava bhaya dukkha. Bhaya dukkha vinashini. The removal of sorrow born out of limitation, lack of security, self-indignation, guilt, hurt, leading to a heavily compounded mind which is always without shanti. That is the dukkha. And bhaya is fear of insecurity, fear of loss of relationship, fear of death, fear of lack of possessions, fear of the forces in the world. All these are centered around my limited being, which is defined by the contours of this body, mind, and senses. I take myself as this body, and all the problems of this body are my problems. I identify myself with this limited individual, and all the problems centered around this individual are my problem. And that leads to a fear because this individual, this body, is intrinsically insecure, intrinsically limited, time-wise limited, spatially limited, object-wise limited, knowledge-wise limited. Any which way you look at it, it is limited, therefore there is bhaya. And that bhaya, Shastra says, is because of your ignorance, where you are taking yourself to be this limited individual. Just like Brantodita Mahasarpa Bhaya, the Bhranti, the delusional snake which is seen on a rope, and that snake gives you the fear, gives you dukkha, because it seems to have certain prongs, it seems to be moving. So all kinds of fear will come. if you have a delusion of a snake on the rope. The solution there is only better light. Throw light on it and your fear is gone, dukkha is gone. Similarly, samyak vicharataha siddha. So even about Atma also the thing is the same. When you really look at what is your Atma, you can see that it is not limited by time, space and objects. In fact, it lights up the time, it lights up the objects, it lights up the space, because of which the space, time and objects gain their easiness, existence. That is your Swarupa. We will see as we proceed. Now let us go to the next verse, which is the verse number 13. Arthasya nischayo drishtaha vicharena hitoktitaha nasnanena nadanena pranayama shatena va. Arthasya nischayah drishtaha. विचारेण हितोक्तितः विचारेण दृष्टः अर्थस्य निश्चयः स्नानेन दानेन प्राणायामशतेन न दृष्टः. You can go around tirthas. Tirtha kshetra, hundreds of it, you can go around. You can do snana. You can give dana to brahmanas. You can give a godhana. You can give swarna dana. You can also sit and do all kinds of pranayama, brahmari pranayama, sudarshana, kriya. All kinds of sadhanas can be done. But they are not going to give you clarity on the Swarupa. Because these are all still actions only. We have already seen all kinds of actions have limited benefit. They do have certain benefit. Every activity has a certain benefit. Snana is not an ordinary thing. If you go to Prayag or Varanasi, it helps you in Antahkarana Shuddhi in a big way. Similarly, Dana is also beneficial. Danena Adanam Tara. The Veda also talks about Dana. Diyate iti et danam. Bhagavan also talks about Dana in Gita. Dravya Mulani Papani. So the giving Dana is a great thing. It also leads to Shuddhi. And pranayama is not an ordinary thing. In Ashtanga Yoga, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. The prana ayama, holding your breath, controlling your body, it helps you in preparing yourself for this jnana, chitta naischalyam. Also, prana shuddhi. Everything is useful, but it is a sahakari karana. It is useful as an additional thing to get yourself prepared. Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyam atma vinigraha indriyarteshu vairagyam anahangara evaja. Like that, Bhagavan lists a lot of qualities and says, Yeta jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yatatonyata. These are called jnana. But are these jnana? No, these lead you towards jnanam. Because of which it is also called jnanam. Likewise, the snana, dana, pranayama, All these are also helpful in you gaining moksha, no doubt. But they are not directly going to give arthanishchaya. That also you should understand. Because many a times people will say, oh, for me, this jnana yoga is not my route. There are many paths to realization. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, jnana yoga. For me, bhakti yoga is what I choose because I am an emotional man. I cannot do this intellectual thing. This jnana yoga is for intellectual guys. I can't do raja yoga also because raja yoga means I have to do all this asana, hatha yoga, all that. Like that people think. But no, without the Swarupa Drishti, Jnanam, there is no moksha. Bhakti is also part of that process. Asana pranayama also part of the process. But finally, the Jnanam is important. People will say, you can go to Tirupati through road, you can go to Tirupati through helicopter, you can go to Tirupati, Tirumala by lift, rope car, you can fly, you can go by walk. Like that, this Atma, Brahman can be gained through this yoga, that yoga, Kriya yoga. There are many paths to any place. And truth is a pathless land, like that people will say. You can go by any which route, doesn't matter. But finally, to see the Balaji, Venkateshwara, you have to open your eyes. There you can't say, I will see Balaji through my ears, through my nose, through my tongue. No. Darshanam is possible only through eyes. You can come there through any route, by walk, by train, by bus, by car, by flight. But to see him, you have to open your eyes. There is no other way. Similarly, your preparation can be through snana, dana, pranayama, asana, pratyahara, whatever. But finally, the Shastra Vakya, only Vakya can only give you the drishti. That's why he says, hitoktitaha vicharena. The hita. Hita means yathatvam. Yatavatvam is hita. Whatever is there should be seen as it is, that is hita. Hitam means beneficial. But here hita because what is seen as it is. There is no superimposition, there is no adhyasa. And that is Shastra Vakya. Tattvamasi is hita. And ukti. The hitokti means the words of learned people. It can also mean the right things, the truth being revealed. That is hitokti. Tasya vicharena, by doing Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam of the Hita Vakyas. From that only Artha Nischaya takes place. What is Artha means what is the reality? What is the truth? That Nischaya means by doing Aparoksha Jnanam is what we. Nischaya means not your conviction based on certain logic. That is not, because that is another thing. People just keep on doing some arguments. Nowadays, some Dvaiti will come, Vidishta Advaiti will come, with some ISKCON guy will come and talk to you, somebody, and then you argue, oh, how can Maya be there? You are Mayavadi. Maya is not possible to be established. All those they will argue. You can keep on arguing. There is no end to it because either person is not intending to themselves understand, but trying to only establish their own conviction, their own points of view based on what their emotional commitment to a certain path, certain guru. That is not going to help either. So better Shrutimatas Tarkonu Sandhiyatam. First try to understand what Vedanta is revealing. Then you can do Manana. Before you even understand, what is the point in going and arguing with somebody else? Just because you have an emotional commitment towards Advaita, somebody else has an emotional commitment to Dvaita, and then you come both come and fight. What is the use? Better try to understand through listening to hitoktitaha. Then 14th verse. Adhikarinamaashaste palasiddhihi viseshataha upaya deshakaladhyaha santi asmin sahakarinaha. Upayaha palasiddhihi adhikarinam ashaste. विशेषतः देशकालाद्याः उपाध्यायाः सहकारिणः सन्ति अस्मिन् फलसिद्धये. So, how do I gain this? How do I accomplish this jnanam? Falasiddhihi. Okay, you guys, there are so many people who are talking about this Vedanta, they are all saying Atma, Brahman. But these all seem to be like some philosophies, some theories. And while I can believe in what you are saying, all that is here is only one thing. God cannot go and create this world out of a material which is not within himself. Logically, this is all fine. But how do I really get that moksha? Palasiddhi, how will it happen? You guys are talking about Jivan Mukti. But Jivan Muktas, we seem to only see people like Sadashiva Brahmendra who have been there long before us. Okay. Or some people say, some Mahaparivar, some Acharyas are Jivan Mukta. That's all. So these seem to be all some mystical aspects, Jivan Mukta and all that. But how do we gain Palasiddhi? Is it even possible to gain? We are all in normal walks of life, going to office, or going to colleges, or not doing anything, whatever. But is this Palasiddhi possible? What is the Bala, which is Moksha, Moksha Bala? And is that possible to accomplish? Here he says, Adhikarinam ashaste. Palasiddhi is possible so long as there is an adhikari. And come out of all these mystical aspects, okay? It's not that only select people can gain this. Any self-conscious individual can gain this jnana. Everybody who is listening can gain this jnana. All it needs is certain qualification, and it's a simple fact of who you are that you need to see. That's it. I'm not oversimplifying it, but at the same time, we also need to come out of the mystical approach to this. Don't think only Sadashiva Brahmendra can gain this moksha. Everybody can gain. Okay, you need adhikaritvam, certain qualification. And what is this qualification essentially? Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Naishcharyam. That's all. You should be in a position to be able to appropriately listen to this Shastra when it is being revealed. So the qualification is purely the state of mind. The mind has to be calm enough to be able to receive this knowledge. And Chitta Shuddhi also, it should, if there is any pratibandha, which makes you not see this simple thing, is your raga dvesha and all that, that needs to be quenched. It should be relatively less. Shouldn't disturb you. Then you should be able to see this reality. That adhikaritvam is all that is needed. And how do you gain it? that depends on where you are today. How much of intensity of ragadvesha is there in your makeup, mental makeup. And that is where all this snana, dana, pranayama, sudarshana kriya, bhakti, everything comes into play in order to get yourself qualified for this. We are not talking about a moksha, which is after death you will go to some place. So there are upayas, many upayas which is there. Desha kaladhyayaha sahakarina. Being at the right place, right time, doing the right kind of things. Whether you are a grihastha or brahmachari or vanaprasthi, depending on the situation, you will be able to spend time on this. Someone can spend 2 hours a day, someone can only spend 2 hours in a week, someone can spend 6 hours. But if you really have the vyavasayatmika buddhi, the nischita buddhi, that all I need is moksha, then you should be able to create that time for yourself, gain this jnana. And the commitment is not shastra, commitment is your swarupa. You have to be very clear, because otherwise we get caught into this myriad of shastras. Okay, I heard someone was telling me. So he asked me this question: what did your Guruji teach you during your 3-year Vedanta course that we did in Anakatti in way back in 90s? I said we were taught Taittiriya Upanishad, Mandukya and Chandogya primarily, and few small Prakarana Granthas and Chatushshutri of Brahma Sutra along with Bhagavad Gita, Shankara Bhashya in 3 years. Said, oh, only that much? I've been learning Vedanta last 8 months. I have already completed all 10 Upanishads and then the 3 Siddhi Granthas and also some 2-3 other Prakarana Grantha. We are right now doing, Brahma Sutra and all that. In 8 months or 10 months, he was saying this, literally. And he was just counting how many books they have finished. Arey, what is the point? One Upanishad is good enough, right, to gain jnana. Why do you need all 10 Upanishads and again, you are just counting, oh, I finished this, okay, next I have to go to this. Why is your pursuit about finishing up all the Upanishads and books, or is the pursuit about knowing your Swarupa? That needs to be clear, no? Somehow people are under this impression that I need to finish all these books to gain jnana. The commitment is not finishing books. It is about Swarupa Siddhi. That is the phala. And you should approach it that way. Even if you learn one shloka, that should be enough. Tattvamasi is one sentence. How to gain the knowledge through that of your Swarupa. That approach, how do you look at the pramana? Shastra as a pramana which gives you aparoksha jnana. That is very important. How to handle the pramana and how do you do Shravana. That itself is a very important thing to understand. Because otherwise there are two extremes, right? One set of people who think, Shastra and all is useless. I will do meditation and I will gain through some kriya. I will suddenly one day Brahman will pop up and I will become a jnani. That is one extreme, who don't even go through Shastra. Then this is other extreme who think Shastra and leave the intent which is actually Atmajnana. Everything becomes purely argumentative. Like they'll bring this Nyaya, that Nyaya, this Shastra says here, that Shastra says that there. How Dvaitins are wrong, how Advaitins are correct. You just go on doing some kind of logical arguments to just establish some points of views. What is the use of it? Life is so short. Better use it to gain the jnana, right? So, phalasiddhi, adhikarinam ashaste. The person has to have the right attitude. We will see what is the adhikaritvam. Okay, upaya deshakaladhyaha santi asmin sahakarinaha. They are only helpful. Now we are going to the verse 15. अतो विचारः कर्तव्यः जिज्ञासोरात्मवस्तुनः समासाद्य दया सिन्धुं गुरुं ब्रह्मविदुत्तमम्. Therefore, vicharaha kartavyaha. You need to do Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Whenever you say vichara, you have to understand we are talking about Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Sutimatas tarkaha. Of what? Atmavastunaha. Who? Jignasoho. Jignasu. The Jnatumicha Jignasa, the one who wants to know. We'll talk right now. We'll just come to this Jignasu. Atmavastunaha vichara kartavyaha. And should he or she do it by oneself? No. Samasadhya daya sindhum gurum brahmavitu uttamam. Gurum samasadhya. That's all. The rest is all qualification of who should be the guru. So, gurum samasadhya jignasoho atmavastunaha vicharaha kartavyaha. This is the sentence. You should look at what is the atmavastu. While you started with moksha, what was the goal? Bhaya dukkha nivritti. That is what is called moksha. Moktumicha, mumuksha. I want to gain freedom from bhaya and dukkha. That is my goal. Not atma or jnanam or anything. The goal is bhaya nivritti only, dukkha nivritti only. That is what is the pursuit, right? Human being wants liberation from, freedom from dukkha and bhaya. Now, moksha is shown by Shastra as this moksha is not possible so long as you are an individual. Even if you go to Vaikuntha or Kailasa or Brahmaloka or Indraloka or any loka, so long as you are an individual limited being, freedom is not possible. However, fortunately, luckily, you are not just an individual. The individuality is perceived by you. What is being perceived by you cannot be you. Therefore, you are not an individual limited being, but you are the whole, all that is here. Then the question is, how come I don't know that? Yes, you don't know that because you haven't even looked into it. Then the pursuit becomes, I want to know that. Then you become a jignasu, jnatumicha, pursuer of knowledge. So the pursuer of knowledge, pursuer of liberation becomes a pursuer of knowledge. That is a mumukshu becomes a jignasu. That jignasu has to do atmanveshanam. What is this atma? Should he or she just go and find out what is this atma, go and search? No. That search cannot give you that atma because atma is hidden in the seeker. So the person has to suspend one's ego, individuality, everything, and expose oneself to the vision of Vedanta Shastra, which has to be unfolded by a sampradaya with the one who has gained this jnanam through the sampradaya. That kind of a guru has to expound this Shastra. That's why next line says, Samasadhya daya sindhum gurum brahmavid uttamam brahmavid. The one who has known this Brahman. How has he or she known this Brahman? By listening to another guru or his or her own guru. That kind of a guru you go and approach. Samasadhya. And the guru is also a daya sindhu. Ahaituka daya sindhu. Because from the guru's perspective, all that is there is only Brahman. There is no problem for anybody. There is nothing called ignorance. There is no dukkha. Even though you are going and asking, telling that Guru, oh, I want to be freed from dukkha and bhaya, from the Guru's vision, you are not even an individual. You are also Brahman. There is no dukkha, there is no bhaya. So the person doesn't need to teach you anything. The person is happy being what he or she is. The person doesn't need to open the mouth. But still, if he agrees to teach you, that is called daya, ahaituka daya, because there is no hetu for the person to teach, no need. But still the person is teaching. So the person is called daya sindhu. That kind of a daya sindhu guru, because he is teaching, that's all, nothing else. The fact that the person is teaching me itself establishes the person is daya sindhu. Otherwise you will ask the question, how will I find the daya sindhu guru? I know this guru, that guru, but this daya sindhu guru, where will I go and find? Don't ask that question. If the person is truly a Brahmavid, he is a Sampradayavid, and doesn't need anything from you for oneself, he is not seeking money or fame or anything like that. But he is willing to teach means he is a Daya Sindhu. He means he, she also is included, okay? That Daya Sindhu Guru Brahmavid Uttamam Asadhya may you, that is the only way to be freed. Independent pursuit. I own studying on my own. There is no good guru these days. If you just want to keep complaining, keep complaining. There is no problem. It's up to you. The guru doesn't have a problem. Vedanta doesn't have a problem. Advaita doesn't have a problem. Nobody has any problem with it. The world contains crores of people. Not everybody gains this jnanam. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidenam. Ascharyavat vadati tataiva chanyah. Ascharyavat chayenam anyah shrunoti. Shrutvapyenam veda nachaiva kaschite. Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita. So nobody is after adding head count. We are not into conversion business here, missionaries. We just, gurus are there, they are just happy being themselves. But if somebody is in dukkha who want to be freed, the Daya Sindhu Guru will, may opt to teach. That's all. So that's why in Mandukya Karika, Karikakara actually says we have no intention to argue with anyone. We are happy being what we are, and we are happy with them being what they are also. Whether as Sankhya or Nayayika, if they say this is what is truth for them, fine, we will just say and walk away from that. This is what he says. So we are not here to convert people to Advaita and all. We are happy what we are. If somebody seeks this knowledge, we will teach. Otherwise, that's fine. You believe in what you believe. For us, there is no problem. Thinking about that you are not Brahman, also you are Brahman only. If you can hate Brahman, still you are Brahman. You can say there is no Ishvara God, still you are Brahman. There is no problem for us. So we will see. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.